The Temple of Speed is upon us here in this F125 My Team career mode, where we're once again driving as ourselves the owner driver off the back of, let's be real, a difficult one to take at reverse Zandvoort, as our race ended prematurely out of nowhere, quite literally blindsided by a flying, retiring Lance Stroll. It was honestly one of the most shock DNFs I've had in a while. You know, sometimes you can kind of maybe see a crash coming and kind of happening, or you feel like you've maybe been a bit too aggressive and, you know, just flirted a bit too much with fate. That was quite literally out of nowhere. Like, I was completely blindsided by the view of Stroll retiring with the cars ahead of us. And I was, you know, we were starting from the back. I was ready for like a race where we're going to be fighting up the order, trying to get back into the point. And I was quite confident about that. But we never got the chance, did we? And whilst we had our retirement and we're walking to the back of the garage, somehow in the rest of the simulated race, Zach O'Sullivan and the Williams Porsche team pulled off their first win of the season. And really the first time they looked somewhat okay again after the season-long issues they've been having. And speaking of the devil, he's up in second place. So have Williams genuinely found something to fix their car? And like I said, tinfoil hat on, I think they've only given the upgrade to O'Sullivan, because Paul Aaron is down in 21st place. So the duality of this team is a bit of a madness, as I alluded to at the end of last episode. Lance Stroll, the person who retired in Zandvoort, actually comes in stone dead last for this one. So maybe that's a little bit of karmic retribution on his side of things, as we are through into Q2 and we're looking to bounce back. Although, really, to be fair, even though it was a DNF, we're still in a pretty okay position in the championship. So it's just a case of trying to not let that, you know, get in our heads and just try and reset and kind of, you know, show the pace that we know we can hopefully show. But Monza's always a bit of a gamble, you know. Qualifying, you don't know how it's going to go. And then in the race, especially with the slipstreaming, it's one of those races where over the years, it's become less of a novelty and more of a chore in a way, Monza sometimes, with, you know, that you're just going to be swapping positions with slipstream until the last lap. But that obviously keeps things on its toes. But we're through into the top 10 shootout, but the party ends for Williams as O'Sullivan's knocked out P15. So much for them fixing their issues there. That's definitely not fixing their issues. So Williams may not be, you know, building on that win then from last time out. That's a bit odd, to be honest. So maybe Williams haven't sorted anything and it was just dumb luck that O'Sullivan won the reverse Zandvoort races. We've got two Benetton in the top 10 here, along with the Toyota, as we're through for our first flying lap, and it's going to be good enough for P4. About 2 tenths still to find, though, to Verstappen, Russell ahead of us, and I think it's Charles Leclerc on provisional pole right now, our second flyer. Well, first sector wasn't too great. Yellow, purple the middle, just by a tiny amount, and we're just going to edge about half a tenth, that is, by the end of the last sector to solidify P4. But in the end, it is very close, but it is Charles Leclerc on pole position. Many times he was here on pole in the Ferrari, of course, now in the McLaren these days, alongside Verstappen. Very close stuff, 0.078, and that's probably a sign of things to come, to be honest, that the top, like, what, 7 is covered by half a second. That's definitely a sign of things to come in the race, all to play for, and all the big names in the top 5.
The third permanent circuit built anywhere on Earth. Monza has always been special. Now it's been providing motor racing memories for a century. Welcome to the Italian Grand Prix. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Russell, Button, Gabriel Bortoletto, and Gasly, Albon, Hadjar, Bischoff, and Nicola Solov, Crawford, Norris, Taylor Barnard, Fittipaldi, O'Sullivan, Pepe Marti, Victor Martins, and Jack Doohan, Lawson, Maloney, Aaron, and Lance Stroll brings the grid to a close. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today? Welcome to the commentary box. I'm Alex Jakes. Alongside me is Anthony Davidson. It feels like an obvious question, but I think everyone wants to know, at this stage, are you nervous or excited?
Probably at the start of a race, it's where your heart rate's at its highest. in anticipation. And you've got to be in the right mindset. You've got to be thinking there inside the car, what can go right? How can I be opportunistic rather than what can go wrong? And how do I protect my position? Look forward and stay positive. It's easy to say, very hard to do when you're in that position.
This is going to be a race all about trying to stick it through to the end. You need to be in the last lap pack at the sharp end if you want a shot to win, to get on the podium, because it's so easy to lose the pace if you keep on fighting cars behind you and you lose cars ahead of you. So in this early stage, all 5 of us in the championship fight in the top 5. How thrilling is that? Even Gasly then in 6th as well to give Russell a bit of a backup. So the biggest stars of the season here lining up at the sharp end, but it's going to be just almost a case of wanting to fight obviously at the start on the opening laps, but also not getting ahead of ourselves. It's a bit of a long-term plan in this race compared to others because of the nature of Monza here. The temple of speed as we go to 5 red lights. Leclerc on pole, Verstappen on the front row alongside him. Who's going to get to turn 1 first? Lights out and we're underway. Russell, an electric start off 3rd position. We've had a howler. How much wheel did you hear the amount of wheel spin we had there? Hadjar is past us. Albon down the inside, and now we're boxed inside of Albon behind Gasly now. Hadjar, real good start. Oh, there's a Cadillac that has had its front wing chopped off. Safety car is out. We've had to, I got a bit confused about letting Gasly by. I don't think I had to actually let Gasly by. And now there's a red flag. Seems a little bit overdone by the FIA. Don't think that really warranted a red flag necessarily, but there we go. So early red flag, the race resets effectively, and all that's happened is that we've lost grid position as we're now down in 7th place. Let's hope that's the lucky number 7 though for us for the rest of this race. As we get going, it's a better start for the 2nd time this afternoon. Leclerc slow, look at that 3 wide. Russell, Leclerc, Bortoletto, Verstappen's in the lead. I didn't even see that. Leclerc actually had a poor start then, and Verstappen minced him off the line. Verstappen, our teammate, leads the way. It is still 3 wide between Bortoletto, Leclerc, Russell. The Brazilian gets up into 2nd place maybe. The McLaren down to 3rd. We've got Gasly. We're up into P5, but look at that, Verstappen already trying to stretch the legs. 1.7 the gap is. So is this going to be the chance for Verstappen to kind of run away with things? Because like I said, if you break the DRS, it's very hard to get back into it. Of course, tyre wear may be a big factor in this race, as it has been all season long with the tyre wear reset we did for this season, as Leclerc and Bortoletto are hitting each other practically to turn 1, and we're trying to get a switchback on Russell as it's 3 wide into turn 1 at the back end, and Doohan has been pinched away. The safety car is out for the 2nd time. This one won't turn into a red flag though.
With the safety car out, this is a good opportunity to pit. We'll be a bit longer than planned on the next tyres, but we can make it work. Just remember, we'll probably lose track position.
Okay, once again, Mark, what are we doing here, Mark? He's suggesting to pit under this 2nd safety car on lap 4 to make it a 4-stop around Monza. Something tells me the 4-stop isn't really the way to go, Mark. I'm not gonna lie. Like in Bahrain, early doors in the season, he's come back again with a worldly strategy there, I must say. No, I was going to say, yeah, safety car, not a red flag this time, but 2nd yellow phase nonetheless, and this will give us a chance to breathe. It's been a decent start for us, though, this 2nd time around to get up to P4. I fancy ourselves getting Bortoletto and Leclerc looking at the pace of Verstappen. But now, speaking of, his gap now, which is massive, looking at the minimap, that's going to be eroded, of course, on the safety car restart. So this also gives Leclerc and Bortoletto a chance to get back into attacking Verstappen. So Verstappen's going to be probably a bit annoyed at the safety car that occurred with Doohan crashing out of the race as we get ready to go. Green flag racing and trying to size up Bortoletto immediately on the start-finish line as Verstappen goes a little bit defensive on Leclerc. We're playing this a bit timid because I've been there before where you try and go a little bit too aggressive into turn 1 on the restart and lock up an absolute treat, but the grip levels aren't feeling too great, to be be honest. I don't know if I didn't warm up the tyres enough, but we're actually looking backwards rather than forwards because Russell is all over the back of us. And under braking, he goes round the outside at Ascari and has absolutely rinsed me on the outside line. So maybe it's the tyre, I'm not too sure, a factor of both, but now both Red Bulls are attacking and we're boxed in. Gasly going for the double pass. That's even more impressive by the Frenchman. He gets not one, but two of us, including his teammate. But again, both Red Bulls, like in Austria, causing me a bit of frustration, using each other, and maybe the vulnerability of knowing that they're prepared to crash with me in a way to overtake us, as Verstappen is defending Leclerc, getting overtaken by Leclerc, though it looks like on the timing ladder, as it's two Benettons fighting each other and Albon. So a lot of fighting going on for all the points paying positions, and there was actually like a number of 3 wides happening simultaneously at turn 1. So Monza is alive and kicking for AI fight. It's Leclerc from Verstappen, Bortoletto, the 2 Red Bulls looking to swap. Russell can't quite make it as Verschoor repasses Albon. So Benetton really punching above their weight here in the Italian GP, and one of them getting ahead of the Ferrari as Verstappen takes the lead back into Parabolica. The Dutchman overtakes Leclerc, and now it's going to be a 3-way fight on the end. As you can see, the tyre wear for me is quite high as there's another incident. This time it's the other Mercedes, and Lando Norris is upside down, hanging like a cow at Parabolica, and that's going to be the 3rd cautionary period of the episode. It's really a war of attrition here at Monza, it seemed like. But yeah, if you saw there briefly, my tyre wear was pretty high just before we cut onto that crash. I think that's probably, the reason why we weren't looking too great then. And there you go. The tyre icon is orange as we are still under the safety car. So, yeah, I think the reason why we were looking so slow was just the tyre wear. And the fact that, to be fair, under the safety car, the tyres probably got a bit colder. And that tyre wear then feels more to you when the tyres are a bit cold, I suppose. So, but the good thing is, we actually get very lucky there. The 2 Red Bulls have to double stack, and it's a ferocious double stack. We have to double stack with Verstappen, but that's not that bad. Like, Verstappen left his pit box just as we were coming in, and I actually slowed up on the safety car period on purpose to make sure we didn't get caught up in that too much. Whereas Russell, I think he got blocked by Gasly being blocked by the next team along in the pit lane. So we've jumped back ahead of him. We are behind Verschoor now because of being slowed up by Verstappen. But in the end of it, in terms of compared to Russell, at least, we did win out on that, and I'm sure we can get Verschoor straight away. But we're in 9th place. I think there are 1 or 2 cars that have yet to pit, including the leader. I think it's Lance Stroll that leads the race. The McLaren of the Canadians, the one in the lead. Leclerc did pit under that safety car. So Stroll leads the way from Albon, who was another car who didn't pit in 2nd place. So we've got a few cars out of position as we get round the outside of Verschoor. Very, very close to Gasly's rear wing as we see him fighting Bortoletto, and Bortoletto getting up into 7th place as the Ferrari looks to move forwards. It's been a bit of a less subdued performance so far for Ferrari in their home race. It's kind of looked like Leclerc versus Verstappen so far in this race, and they're again next to each other on track. I think Leclerc has the advantage. Oh wow, what? Verstappen goes wide, but hang on, Leclerc's already into P1. When did that happen? Maybe I got it wrong. Maybe Leclerc was in the lead the entire time. I assumed Stroll took the lead, having not pit, but maybe Leclerc was so far ahead, maybe just before the safety car, that he was in the lead all along. As we get round the outside of Gasly, Verstappen's struggling. What's happened to him? He just went wide at the in sector 2, and now he's looking like a sitting duck versus Bortoletto. We're going to get Stroll. He's really hurting because he's been on those tyres since the start of the last 5 red lights period. I was going to say the start of the race, but we've had a red flag period. But Verstappen's looking a little bit vulnerable as Albon is getting attacked by Hadjar. Is Hadjar going to get into 2nd for Benetton as Stroll shows how strong the McLaren is in a straight line? He almost re-overtakes this. We're going to hopefully repass him into turn 1. It's getting a little bit too close for comfort though. Stroll puts up a decent fight to help out his teammate, maybe you feel, as Hadjar is into 2nd. The Frenchman is flying for Benetton, and Verstappen has been overtaken by the Audi. And Audi is in 4th as well. What is going on? All of a sudden, this race has turned into an absolutely insane one in terms of the result, potentially. I know we're only about halfway through, but A Benetton and Audi 3-4 as it stands is pretty crazy, as I think that is Albon repassing, no, Hajar repassing Albon, and Verstappen getting past Crawford. It's all bunching up a little bit. Can we make the most of this as Bortoleto will try and get the Audi? Can we maybe get a 2-for-1 and catch them napping a little bit? The Brazilian goes to the inside, Crawford goes defensive, and he's going to just about stay ahead. Yes, and that is going to be an opportunity. There we go, the undercut line to the inside to get 1-2 cars up into P5, but now, unfortunately, there's such a long run to turn 1 that you can see there the Ferrari actually comes to repass us again, as it's 3 wide nearly between Albon, Hajar and Verstappen. We have to make our car as wide as possible to try and stay ahead of Bortoleto, but that Ferrari is so good off every slow corner. We've seen that before in the season, and with that, Bortoleto coming through on the right-hand curve. He's on the inside. We give him room to work with because I don't want to completely chop the door off and make contact here, but in doing so, there's now a bit of a gap to Verstappen, and we've lost a bit of slipstream as Verstappen is trying desperately to get Hajar, but I think he might have damage, you know. I just saw there on that angle. I don't know if he might have front wing damage of Verstappen. Maybe that's why he was a bit slow. Maybe he went wide and got a bit of damage. I think there's no end plate on Verstappen's front ring on the right-hand side as Leclerc's in then for an earlier pit stop than others. Albon, Hajar's in. Verstappen carries on. We carry on. So maybe our tyre wear is not as bad as I thought. Maybe, I don't know, those three are in for an earlier pit stop. Bortoleto having an attack. We go defensive, but it is, well, for now, we're trying to make it a 1-2 in this race, but obviously we're yet to make a pit stop as the Ferrari clouts the curb and almost puts us in the gravel, but it doesn't matter. Enzo Fittipaldi out of the race. There's been another crash at turn 1, and that will be the 4th safety car? I think the 4th safety car of this race, if you count the first one that turned into a red flag. Verstappen's going to be in under the safety car. I will carry on as Gasly is out of this one as well with an engine failure, but you may have noticed, well, I didn't bring it up, but in that second stint, I was the only one on hards. Most of our rivals, Verstappen, Leclerc, Russell even, Bortoleto, all on medium, so it makes sense for them to come in. For me, I've still got a fair bit of tyre on these hards, and if I come in now for a medium, based off the first stint, I won't get to the end in a decent measure, so I felt obligated to stay out. Everyone else has gone from a medium to a hard. It's kind of annoying, you know, you can say everything in hindsight, but it's kind of annoying that I went onto a hard tyre. If I had known there was going to be a safety car coming, I wouldn't have done so, but you just can't, you know, foresee a safety car. I'm kind of hoping now we've had 4 safety cars. If there could be a 5th one, that would definitely help us out to then pit under that one for our last medium of the race. But for now, we will continue on hards and try and fend off these guys. But honestly, my game plan here is kind of low-key hoping for an incident that gives us a safety car for a 5th time to make a last pit stop onto mediums. Otherwise, I'm going to try maybe and stretch this hard to the end. I don't know. We don't know how long this hard can go for. I'm the one who went onto it the earliest, and all these guys are going onto it for the first time. So we're going to have to see. This is a big stab into the unknown. It's a bit of a gamble, but hey, you got to try and take some gambles sometimes to try and win races. I mean, we took a pretty big one in Belgium, and it worked out. So let's give it a try. It's a 1-3 to be fair, and to be fair, maybe we can help Verstappen in a way, because if we try and put up a fight blocking Leclerc here, maybe Verstappen could get in the mixer. But already, is that Mark asking me to come in on the change of strategy? I swear to God. Yeah, he's telling me to have, he's asking me to have come in on lap 16, 2 laps ago. Brilliant. Awesome stuff as Leclerc is on the right, Verstappen on the left, and Leclerc completely rinses me. And I was trying to maybe wave Verstappen through, but it's not really worked. Verstappen will pull out now for the overtake, but the problem is I'm trying to defend Albon. Verstappen's got damage. I've now got damage as Albon, has he nicked our floor there? The floor is a little bit lime green as I try to give Verstappen as much defense aid as possible, but because of that front wing damage he's got, it's tough out here. I'm trying to be a good teammate in a way, knowing that I'm already in a compromised position as, oh my God, into turn 1. We slam on the brakes, trying to avoid contact with Albon, and we actually lock our rear end. We were sideways at the apex, kind of cutting the curb a little bit as we're watching Verstappen attack Albon, and just annoyingly, this has allowed Leclerc to pull away and dominate things now. 5.5. This is the opposite of what I wanted. In hindsight, I've played that wrong. I shouldn't have been... I just should have just tried to done my own race. Maybe I overplayed my hand a little bit trying to help Verstappen out here, because now we've let Leclerc go as we try and repass both of them, trying to do my own race. Albon's hit me. Albon, you... Oh... Albon has given me orange floor damage. He's broken his own front wing, and he's just given me floor damage there. Brilliant. Well, if our race wasn't difficult enough already, now it's a damage limitation race. This is not how I wanted things to go. It was going pretty well up until that last safety car and just the whole situation. The race has unraveled a little bit. I'm annoyed. I think there was a scenario where we could have won this race or helped Verstappen win it and at least get good points for the team and got on the podium. But now we're in P4, and with an orange floor, you're really feeling it in the corners, let me tell you, and that's also on top of the extra tyre where we've got relative to the others, because we've been on these tyres for a lot longer, to the point where now our tyre icon is already orange, as the short is out, so it's only Hadjar, the only Benetton left in this race, but he's in third, as Stroll is now looking for the pass. We're going to be down to P5, and there's going to be 2 McLarens in the top 4, and Bortoletto will try and come past, and I mean, I've tried to fight him there a little bit. There's no point wasting too much battery, because in a straight line as well, my pace is being affected, because when you get floor damage and side pod damage, that gives you extra drag as well. Plus, also, you're seeing how much wheel spin there is on these slow corners. I am tumbling down the order, and it's a bit of a deflating feeling here. Going from what was leading the race, and I said we had to gamble. In the end of it, we should have just pit for a medium and try to suck it up on a medium, because then we wouldn't have been anywhere near on track with Albon to give us that damage. But it's the way it's gone. It's been a tough time then from Zandvoort to this one. You know, 2 races that are difficult, and we're going to have to doubly bounce back now next time out to make up for it. Verstappen, to be fair, in the end actually is still holding his way in second place, so we maybe have helped out our teammate in a way to still be on the podium there. But yeah, Leclerc's miles away, and Leclerc's going to have a massive advantage in the championship now, because I think he was leading by 2 points going into this one somehow, even though it doesn't feel like he's had an amazing last few episodes of the season. Russell passes by. Barnard may pass us by. Barnard in the Audi has just overtaken us. Okay. Yeah, it's ropes. We're on our last stand. I'm on my knees begging that we can get something in this race and not be out the points completely, as Hadjar just gets down the inside of Verstappen. Hadjar into second in the Benetton. Forget about Leclerc winning in Monza. In a McLaren, Isaac Hadjar in a Benetton, maybe going for second place. Verstappen repasses him, but he's got a good chance maybe with the DRS, as it's Stroll fighting Barnard and Bortoletto. An Audi of Barnard might be getting up to 4th place maybe, if he's lucky. He is going to rinse Bortoletto in his home race. Where has that come from for Taylor Barnard, as our tyre icon is brick red at this point? But there's no point pitting now. I need to just commit to this. And to be fair, even though I'm horrendous in the corners, the DRS is doing wonders. It's pulling me along, and out of pure spite, I'm going to use all the pace I've got here and all the anger I've got to try and get this pass on Bortoletto, viciously turning in at Parabolica to, out of spite, just overtake Bortoletto to try and get one over Ferrari. That's payback, not for Bortoletto, but for his teammate Albon for giving me the damage here. So in the home race, we push down the Ferrari to 8th place, despite our car being on its last legs with the tyre, with the damage, as Russell tries to get Barnard. He does get Barnard on the second last lap. Russell's up into P5, and there goes Hadjar for I think the 3rd time he's trying this on the outside of Parabolica. He will get up into second place, but I'm sure Verstappen will come back. So it'll be a last lap showdown between Hadjar and Verstappen. That is pretty insane. Obviously, the 2 IRL Red Bull Ford teammates, Leclerc 14 seconds ahead in the lead. That's crazy. That is a bit frightening for everyone. And is that a sign of things to come in this championship then? He's going to be taking the lead of the standings by quite some way. And the lead he's got here is going to be that sort of same sort of fearful sort of gap here as Maloney overtakes Bortoletto. So Bortoletto, his home embarrassment for Ferrari is nearly complete. He's pushed down to P9. Could it be P10 by the end of it? This is not the race Ferrari wanted. It's not the race I wanted. So not everyone can have everything they want. And Russell actually got repassed by Barnard. So the Audi still might get a top 5 as Leclerc coming through in a red and white car at Monza for P1. But it's not the Ferrari. It's the McLaren Marlboro colours as Hadjar into second at Ascari. And I think this time it is going to be for the final position on the podium. Hadjar, a brilliant second place for Benetton as Verstappen holds off Stroll for third with the front wing damage. Hadjar, surely the driver of the day, is look at our car, 93% tyre wear on the rear left. The floor is also just a piece of wood with fractures, and we've limped home for P7. It's not the most ideal race ever. It's points at least. We've maybe learned a bit. Maybe just not getting too stuck into it with Albon turn 1. That really undid our race, didn't it?
What a performance! He's left the field behind. Charles Leclerc wins it.
Leclerc really did leave the field behind, not only in the race, but also in the championship, because we move on to the standings. He is 17 points ahead of me. He is now 31 points ahead of Bortoletto in P5. Is this no longer a 5-way championship fight? Is this everyone trying to get back into a championship fight with one single driver of Leclerc? That's the question I have for you guys, because that is, for career mode terms, going into the last third of the season, that is a crazy gap. Like, we and the others are going to have to do some serious work to try and catch back up. At least in the constructors, we're still looking good. Myself and Verstappen as a pairing. Guys, if you've enjoyed that episode, hit the like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're around it, then do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.